want to wish Senator Cardin a very happy, joyous, and healthy birthday, and many more. One of our key members of the committee. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ben. Happy birthday to you. And many more. All right.
You now understand that Senator Menendez's Senate career is his second career. His first career is as a singer and a performer. So thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'm not giving up my day job. I like to eat. So, but happy birthday, Ben. This is what happens when you sing. I sang to Gene Shaheen, so now he wants to be sung to. You know, I made that mistake of doing that in public. So, in any event, happy birthday, Ben. And I understand, I don't know if he's here anymore, but a former member of the staff, John Ryan, who is at the State Department, shares an illustrious birthday with Senator Cardin, so happy birthday to him as well. Let me, on a serious note, turn to our nominees. Ms. Stewart, you may have heard my opening comments, and I'm wondering, do you believe that the department, as it is presently configured, as it is presently staffed, is up to the challenge ahead?
Thank you, Senator. I share your concerns that the Bureau of Arms Control has been challenged through the previous administration, losing resources, losing supporting staff. And I agree that bringing on a new generation of experts and enabling the good transfer of institutional knowledge will be a priority, as will expanding our ability to confront and contend with an increasingly aggressive China and new and emerging technological challenges. I agree with you. We also need to expand and enhance our work to create a new generation of tools and technologies that will enhance verification and allow us to better monitor compliance. We need to position ourselves to work closely with the intelligence community and the U.S. interagency to explain the basis for the U.S. government's compliance concerns to the international community in an effort to shine a light and hopefully resolve those concerns. And finally, we need to work to rebuild an understanding of the importance of arms control measures in coordination with deterrence to achieve a lasting and sustainable strategic stability. If confirmed, all of these are issues that I hope to work on in close cooperation with you to expand and enhance the capacity of the Bureau to address the numerous challenges it faces.
You know, we have an extraordinary array of issues that your department would have responsibility for, and for which I think we face some major challenges. Let me ask you specifically, it appears that we have reached a critical juncture in our diplomatic efforts to contain Iran's nuclear program. It continues to stonewall the IAEA's investigation into undeclared nuclear materials and activities that were uncovered in 2018, and is refusing to allow the IAEA to assess critical monitoring equipment. I don't even understand quite the much ballyhooed agreement that was reached by the IAEA. All they did is they took out the components that were previously being used for monitoring, but which they can't see, and put in the new chips to continue to monitoring, but which they can't see. So we don't have any eyes on site during this period of time to understand how far they have advanced. And Tehran is pressing forward with their nuclear program, with the current breakout time to produce the necessary material for a weapon near where it was before the JCPOA was signed. What impact is Iran's refusal to cooperate with the IAEA having on compliance with the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty? And do you think that Iran has really walked away without very much consequence, that other states will follow Iran's lead in refusing to fully cooperate with the IAEA?
Thank you, Senator. I completely share your concerns on this issue. This administration remains committed to ensuring Iran never acquires a nuclear weapon, and we continue to believe diplomacy in coordination with our allies and regional partners is the best path to achieve that goal. We clearly have a series of fundamental disagreements on a wide range of issues. Iran's lack of cooperation on safeguards in the JCPOA, its support for terrorism, its ballistic missile programs, its destabilizing actions throughout the region, and its abhorrent practice of using wrongfully detained U.S. citizens and foreign nationals as political tools are all issues of grave concern. But with respect to your specific point, if we don't address the numerous challenges that Iran poses, we will risk other countries following Iran's lead. And we will risk the diminishment of the IAEA and the NPT itself. So this administration is very focused on understanding what we can do to address all of these challenges while supporting the IAEA. AVC's sister bureau, the ISN Bureau, is the lead in the T family on these issues. If confirmed, I will work to make sure AVC is ably assisting the department in its efforts to prevent Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon and to ensure support for the IAEA in all of its efforts.
All right. I have questions for you on China, but I will submit them for the record. I'd like a full answer when you receive them. Let me turn to Mr. Bondi. You obviously support the continued partnership with Bahrain to address counterterrorism needs in the region. Is that correct?
Yes, I do,
and
Senator.
As well as maintaining the close security partnership that we have between the United States and Bahrain.
Yes, I do, Senator.
Now, we applaud that Bahrain and the UAE became countries that normalized relations with Israel. But if confirmed, what steps can you take as ambassador to preserve the space for continued dialogue on normalization? How would you help foster Israel's growing ties with Bahrain?
Yes, Senator, thank you very much for the question. This is an issue set that, if confirmed, I would want to devote all of my creativity and energy in order to expand the relationship between two of our close friends and allies in the Middle East region. Indeed, I believe there is quite a bit of progress that can be made. At least at this stage, both sides have taken the fundamentally important step to complete and sign and promote the Abraham Accords. And now comes the time where it needs to be operationalized. Now, as we heard earlier, the Israeli foreign minister did visit Bahrain just a few days ago. Bahrain does have an ambassador now in Israel, and my understanding is Israel shortly will have an ambassador in Bahrain. I would certainly want to, if confirmed, consult with the Israeli embassy, the Israeli ambassador. But I do believe, Senator, that there is a great amount of room for joint cooperation, be it in the military and security realm, all the way across to people-to-people contact. And I would want to look for opportunities in order to enhance that relationship.
I've said to several of our nominees going to some of these countries is that it's great that the Abraham Accords were signed. It's great that there's a normalizing, but normalizing has to go a step beyond. If you're allies, you're allies. That means you stand up for Israel at institutions like the United Nations. It means you engage within the region to engage other countries within the region. As you say, it has to become operational. Otherwise, it is just a piece of paper for which there is a recognition of a relationship, but what that relationship is really ultimately embodied by the actions of both countries bilaterally in each case. So I hope to see that in the case of Bahrain. I do have questions about our human rights, and I will submit those for the record that I'd like to see you respond to. Finally, Ms. Cardin, I look at what some people say about ECOSOC, and there are some who say that ECOSOC lacks any real authority and that it overlaps with the activities of the UN General Assembly. It's been suggested that the Council could play a greater role in global economic and development policy. The UN has passed several reforms over the years, including as recently as this year, to strengthen ECOSOC's policy guidance role and to improve collaboration between ECOSOC, its subsidiary councils, and other UN entities. What's your assessment of the most recent ECOSOC reforms? Do you believe that ECOSOC should have a greater policy-setting role?
So, Senator, thanks for the question. I think it's still a work in motion, Senator, as best I understand the situation. ECOSOC does play an important role in framing the conversation that then goes on to the General Assembly, in creating reports, resolutions, documents that can set the context for how key issues are discussed, key issues which matter substantially to the United States. If confirmed for this position, Senator, I'd always keep that in mind. How do we work effectively across the ECOSOC bodies to ensure that their operations are effectively supporting important U.S. goals that are within the purview of the committee? I'm a firm believer, Senator, that the UN functions best when the U.S. is in a leadership role and is clearly at the table, and I would hope, if confirmed, to bring that to the ECOSOC discussions.
One last question for you. I'm concerned about China's increasing influence and role in UN bodies. ECOSOC consults with more than 5,100 registered non-governmental organizations to inform its work. I'm deeply concerned that within ECOSOC, China has used its seat on the Council's Committee on NGOs to block applications from NGOs working on human rights issues. I know you're not there yet, but you've been involved in this field in general. How do you assess China's efforts to use its increased influence at ECOSOC and elsewhere in the UN system to undermine civil society and silence the voices of those who champion human rights?
Senator, I think this absolutely is a problem, and it needs to be a top priority. We know that there's a broader effort undertaken by China across the UN system to try to insert its authoritarian values in place of core UN principles. We cannot allow that to happen. There are particular risks in the ECOSOC space, and in particular in the NGO committee, where I understand China has acted to ensure that NGOs that represent Tibet or the Uyghurs are not allowed to participate. If confirmed for this position, Senator, I share fully with you the view that NGOs and civil society provide an absolute critical perspective. Credible organizations need to be at the table, and I devote the full measure of my energies to ensure that was in fact the case.
Well, we look forward to that. This committee, as well as the Senate, has spoken with one voice on China, and therefore, whether it be on arms control issues or whether it be about its nefarious activities at the UN that I've just described, we look forward to a forceful response. Senator Hagerty has made it under the wire, so